Hello! So we made it through part 1, let's get on to part 2. What we have here, you can see that I've switched editors. I'm no longer using old notepad.exe, and the reason is this, an actual programming editor has all kinds of tools and things to help you code faster and better and just make life a little easier on you. So, to start things off, you can see we've got some color coding going on, and you'll see some other stuff, some template hints that pop up when you're over things. All kinds of fun stuff. Anyway, it's still just that basic old text file. It's just more tools to work with. Anyway, let's talk about comments. Comments is something you're going to want to learn from the very start. To comment a line of code, you just put a little pound signal in front of it, and that is a comment. And all this is just a little note that you can make to yourself or to the next guy that comes along and has to work on your code that kind of just tells what's going on. That's one way to comment. You can also comment this way. Or, if you want to be really cool, you can do multi-line comments. Just like that. You can see that I was kind of cheating a little bit there. Not really cheating, but the editor was helping. Back when I was doing this, you can see that it automatically adds the comment to the beginning of the line. Just one of those things to make life easier. And you're going to want to use a lot of comments in your code. It's really helpful, not so much today, but in a year or 5 years, when you come back and you need to rework your program, it's well worth it to have comments. Okay. The next thing we want to cover is variables. Anybody who has had, even pre-algebra should know what a variable is. It's those things in math where we say x equals 2 plus y. Now in PHP we're not going to use variables in that same way, but it's still, the idea is the same. The variable is a box that holds some sort of information. And variables can be the type of number. They can be a string, which is just characters. This sentence here is a string. It's an example of a string. They can be floating point numbers. They can be arrays. We'll get into all the arrays and everything later. One cool thing about PHP above other languages is that it's pretty flexible in terms of what type your variables are. If you were programming in C or another strict language, you would find that you had to tell it not only that a certain variable is a number, but you would have to tell it what type of number and all kinds of other stuff really strictly, and that just makes life a little bit harder. In PHP, we don't have to worry quite that much about our variable types. Basically, for most purposes, you can pretty much lump them into either a number or a string. And PHP can and will go in and figure out which they are. So, when we do use variables in PHP, let's go back to our x equals 2 plus y. We show that they're a variable by the dollar sign. So x equals 2 plus y, and then we add our semicolon at the end, and voila! We now have some valid PHP code. Let's say that y is equal to 1, and now we have two variables. We've set y equal to 1, x equals to 2 plus y, and if we go back down here to our actual echo statement, we're going to say echo x equals and we're just you'll see what that does here in a minute. X equals X, and what that'll do is it'll print out the actual value of X inside of our string. And I'll show you. Go back over here and load it, and we can see that X is equal to 3. We can also have variables that are strings. Say S equals, this is a string variable, and let's take out this and just say echo S. Come over here. Oh, as you can see, I forgot something. Put our semicolon in there. Save it. Come back over here, load it, and that's what it says. This is a string variable. Not too difficult there. We can also make floating point variables, which if you're new to programming, that won't make a difference at all to you. If you're used to a stricter language, you'll find that pretty handy. Come back, and we should have oops, haven't we changed that, so add it back in there and say X equals 3.5, and there you go. And that is a basic introduction to variables and commenting. Now, just a quick note here about editors. The editor I'm using right now is called Aptana. There are plenty of editors out there. Let's see, PSPad is one. I used it quite a bit. UltraEdit is one. That one I've also used quite a bit. There is a NetBeans for PHP. There is Zend Studio, and there's also a ton of other ones out there. So if you don't like something about a particular editor, you can always go find another one, which I do pretty often. Another one of note is Notepad++. Very handy. Okay, and all of these have different tool sets and styles and everything else, but they'll pretty much all beat Notepad. And that is about the end of our second lesson. Remember, we've got comments, and we've got variables, and beginning with our next lesson, we're going to actually start seeing some action and doing some things with those variables that is starting to look a little bit more like programming. So